This video focuses on solving word problems using fraction and decimal multiplication. Try this first problem on your own using what we already know from the previous lessons. Joseph completed a 3.5-kilometer race in 13.5 minutes. His sister's time was 1.5 times longer than his race. How long did it take his sister to run the race? First thing that you can do is draw a picture so that you see how long it took Joseph, and remember that it took his sister the same amount of time plus some more. And when we look at that, there are multiple ways that you can solve it, and I'll show you the way that I would solve it, although you may have done it a little bit differently. So the way that I solved it is with the basic algorithm saying that we have 13.5 minutes, and I'm multiplying it by 1.5. I took 1.5 and turned it into a decimal in my head as I thought through it. If you need to find another way, such as multiplying 1/2 by 5/5 to get that decimal, go ahead and do that. And then I added them together to get 20 and 25 hundredths of a minute. You could also do it as a fraction or as a fraction mixed with an addition problem. Okay, one of the fraction ways could look like this, where you have 13.5 times 1.5, turn it into an improper fraction, multiply, and then simplify, and you get 1.25. It doesn't matter if it is in decimal or fraction form at this point. Look at the question and see what it's asking before you choose which one. Try looking at this next problem. A clothing factory uses 1,275 and 2/10 of a meter of cloth a week to make shirts. How much cloth would they need to make 3 3/5 times as many shirts? Okay, remember, as we're looking through this, we have the keywords we're looking for, times. So we know we're going to be multiplying 3 3/5 and 1,275 and 2/100 of meters are some of the givens that we need to know. Go ahead and work through it. Again, for this problem, I used the standard algorithm to multiply. The first thing that I did is on the side here is I converted 3/5 into tenths so that I could easily write my fraction as a decimal when I solved the problem. Remember to pull out the decimal first and then move it back in at the end. When I solved this, I found 4,590 and 72 hundredths meters of cloth. Let's look at this next problem. There are 3/4 as many boys as girls in a class of 5th graders. If there are 35 students in the class, how many are girls? You need to make sure that you're reading this question carefully to make sure that you are answering what it is asking, and I would strongly suggest drawing a picture to help you see what they're actually looking for, which will make the question much easier to solve. So this is the picture that I drew, and I looked at it and said that I'm going to use 3/4 to help me determine how many girls there are. And if there are 3/4 as many girls, I need one whole unit, one whole amount of girls. And so I'm going to have my 4/4 representing a fractional 1. It's that one whole amount of the girls. And then there are 3/4, so I only need 3 of the 4 squares. Okay. In this, I know that the 7 sections altogether provide 35 students. Okay? Take a moment and look at what you have here and see if your solution, your product or difference or quotient may have changed. Okay? Solving this problem, I know that 7 units shows me 35 students. So then 1 unit, which is 7 divided by 7, is the same as 35 divided by 7, which gives me 5 students. And I'm looking at how many girls are in the class, which is 4 units, looking at my picture, and I have 5 students times 4 units, which gives me 20 students, and I can do 35 minus 20, which gives me 15 boys if I wanted to know that as well. Look at one last problem. Milo purchased a concert ticket for $56. The cost of the ticket was 4/5 the cost of his dinner. The cost of his hotel was 2.5 times as much as the price of his ticket. How much did Milo spend altogether for the ticket, hotel, and dinner? again, I'd suggest drawing a picture and then going from there. Okay, this is what my picture would look like. I have my ticket, which I'm going to put in the middle, and I have 4 units, which is $56. Dinner is what I'm using for 5 units because the ticket is 4/5. That's why I have 5 sections. And then the hotel is 2.5 times, so I have the 56 plus 56 plus half of 56. And then I'm going to use that to solve the problem. When I solve this, I like to solve the hotel first because I already know where that's going to be with 2.5 times. So I did this in the standard algorithm, moving my decimal out, multiplying 56 times 25, solving it, moving the decimal back in to see that the hotel cost $140. To figure out how much he paid for the dinner, what I did is I took $56 and divided it by the 4 units that we had for the ticket, and then multiplied it by 5 for the 5 units that we have for the dinner, showing that 1 unit for the ticket and dinner is $14, and there are 5 units for dinner, so 14 times 5 is then $70 for the dinner. And now my last step is to take all of this and add it together. So I'm going to have $70 plus $140 plus $56 to get my total. When I add everything together, I see that Miles spent a total of $266.